49ers
Uh-oh.
are trading for defensive tackle Maliek Collins. So he played for the Texans last year, which, I mean, that's wide 9. That's D'Amico Ryans. Have I heard of Maliek Collins? No. But let's become Maliek Collins experts right now. Have you heard of Maliek Collins?
Terrible. I hate it. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. He's 28. He's started 112 games in his career, which means I absolutely should know who he is. He was a 3rd-round pick. He was drafted by the Cowboys. He played for them for 4 years. He played for the Raiders for a year. He's been with Houston for 3 years. Last year, he had 5 sacks. How many snaps did he play? 700 snaps. So this is a serious defensive tackle. It almost seems like he's probably, is he better than Jordan Elliott? Okay. So another defensive player. Hey, Rob, did you realize that the Niners defense was the reason they lost the Super Bowl? Because I think it's pretty clear. It's their fault. But now they got Maliek Collins and Jordan Elliott. So forget Eric Armstead. I'm just being a jerk at this point.
Collins,
wow.
Overall PFF grade, again, this isn't the Bible, but just a baseline, was 62.7. His pass rush grade was 70.1. His run defense grade was 45.6. So that's not great. But
okay, yeah. So he's the other. So we're talking platoons here, right? Leonard Floyd's the pass rusher. Yetur Gross-Matos is the edge setter, run defender. Jordan Elliott, run defender. Maliek Collins, pass rusher. Okay, got a couple platoons. Last year, the platoon was Drake Jackson and Cleveland Farrell, so it couldn't do worse.
What is the compensation? That's what I want to know.
Well, it's a trade, right? So It's not a signing. Let me look it up.
So if they're trading for him, what are they giving up? If it's just a late round pick, I'm all for it. So his
cap number for 2024 was 13.4, but a lot of that is prorated bonus, $5 million. So his base salary, $8 million with per game roster bonuses. Sounds like it's going to cost the Niners. It seems kind of expensive, more expensive than Jordan Elliott. So about $8 million. And he signed through 2025, but he has no guaranteed money next year. So,
Yeah, I want to know more about it. I'm not going to pretend to be a Maliek Collins expert. Matt McCune keeps saying I miss super chats. I read your super chat about addressing the offensive line, Matt. We talked about it.
He signed a 2-year extension with the Texans last year in June. It was a 2-year, $23 million extension with $18 million guaranteed. So he's essentially kind of making the same amount of money that Leonard Floyd and Yetur Gross-Matos are making. You got 3 guys on the Niners, another guy who's signed for 2 more years. Like you said, 2024, 2025, making about $10 million a year. That's what he's
as Eric Branch points out, this ends any question about Eric Armstead returning.
Yeah, forget Eric Armstead. He's not coming back.
That's over.
I don't really expect to bring it full circle. I don't expect Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. It seems pretty clear that what the Niners did was, instead of relying on really expensive guys who aren't on the field, get a couple guys who are cost effective and on the field, and that way you're covered. I get it. It's at least consistent. It makes sense. These guys aren't stars, but they'll be on the field most likely.
I think the 49ers are saying, look, we've got the Lamborghini and the Porsche. We've got all those in the garage already, right? We've got Warner and Bosa and Hufanga's, going to be back. And we've got McCaffrey and Kittle and all the names. We all know the names. What they need is the reliable car. They need the Subaru Legacy. I just wrote a story about this for our website, goldstandardniners.com, about how the Niners are going for affordability and dependability. And when you've got the other cars in the garage, I think that's an okay route to go.
I just had a thought.
All right.
Another thing that this says is they're actually looking at scheme fit, because this guy played in the wide 9. They can see it. Jordan Elliott played in the wide 9. They can see it. You know who didn't play in the wide 9 that they gave a whole lot of money to? Hargrave, who had a solid year, but you could argue he's not a scheme fit in the wide 9. He was killing it in a 5-man front. It's a whole different thing. He was getting one-on-ones all day and destroying them. Here, it's a different story. It's a different job. So maybe, are they going to trade Javon Hargrave? Are they? Hey, can we come back to irresponsible speculation?
Always.
Let's bring it back. Let's look at Javon Hargrave's contract. They're paying him a lot of money to potentially not fit this defense. Let's look at Javon Hargrave. What you got? Hold on. Okay. His cap number this year is just 15 million. So you're not really creating any. No, okay, but next year they could trade him. They could trade him next year. He has no guaranteed money next year. His cap number goes up to 26 million.
A post June 1st trade, they could move Hargrave.
Post June 1st, they could.
There'd be only a 5.8.
They could. But I don't know. Because it seems to me that Jordan Elliott and Maliek Collins are both starters. Two starters. I mean, Jordan Elliott, is he not? Jordan Elliott, was he not a starter last year?
I don't think I don't know anything about him. I know he did not have good PFF.
He started 14 to 17 games last year and 17 to 17 games the year before that. He could come off the bench for sure. But how much money they gave him? Do we know?
I don't think we know yet. Again, none of these deals can become official until the new league year starts.
Okay. We have some preliminary figures on Collins, Floyd, and Gross Matos, but we don't know Elliott yet. I'd be curious to see if he's paid like a starter or a backup. What's going on with Hargrave? I don't know. He's expensive.
I think he was okay last year. You know,
okay.
He was not as good of a pass rusher as I was hoping for, certainly. But
doesn't help your run defense much.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. But
no. But PFF did say he was the worst signing of last year.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if that's. Yeah.
I saw a stat from Next Gen Stats that said he had the second most pressures out of the 3-tech alignment last year. Justin Matabuke was first from the Ravens with 38. Hargrave was second with 32. So it's not like he was, you know, sometimes I feel like it's hard to evaluate defensive tackles just because, you know, they're defensive tackles. A lot of what they do, they do the play up, as Chris Sims likes to call it, where you don't get a stat, but you penetrate and you screw the whole play up. So sometimes I think it can be hard to evaluate those guys, but there is nobody on this team that they could move off of that I would be stunned. Nobody, except for maybe Bosa. Other than that, nothing would shock me.
Well, I mean, they completely redone their defensive line. They got rid of Eric Armstead. They let Kinlaw go. They let Chase Young go. They let Randy Gregory go. And it seems like this could be the Javon Kinlaw replacement, or Jordan Elliott was the Javon Kinlaw replacement. A couple of days ago, or a day ago, I thought the Niners are definitely drafting a defensive tackle in round 1. Mm-hmm. But now you got this guy you just traded for a guy making $10 million a year. You just signed a guy yesterday who is kind of like a DJ Jones 2-down run stuffer. Where are you going to go in round 1 now? Now I don't know anymore. Are you? I mean, clearly it's going to be defense. Obviously, it's going to be defense because that's the only side of the ball that needs anything. So what? Corner? Are they going to draft a corner in round 1? That would be interesting. I wouldn't be against it.
Yes, corner. Yeah. I would love, or O-line. By the way, it's a 7th round pick in return for Maliek Collins. I saw that is the compensation. So hooray! You know, no one's gonna cry about a 7th round pick.
That's just D'Amico doing the Kyle Solid.
Look, the way D'Amico's been stocking up his defense, he's like, yeah, I don't care about Maliek Collins. We just signed a bunch of dudes, and I'm going to be mauling people.
Yeah. This is cool. Cool. Very interesting. I guess this kind of frees up the Niners to go BPA in round 1, which is what you want to do.
Oh, absolutely. I wanted them to address some need in free agency because I felt like that would give you so much more flexibility with your 1st round pick to where you're not like, well, God, we got to go here because if we don't, then we have this giant gaping hole on the roster. I don't feel like they think they have that now. I think that's part of what the McKivitz signing was about. It was like, hey, we'd like to get some help on the offensive line, but if things don't go our way, we feel okay enough with him that we're not forced into drafting purely for need.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at it, so McKivitz is also through 2025, right? This isn't the last dance. Next year's the last dance. But McKivitz is signed through 2025. He's making less money than Collins. All of a sudden, it's looking like that right tackle spot isn't necessarily set in stone. They're less invested in that right tackle spot than they are D tackle.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, they freaking love D tackles, so you never can have enough.
Well, they do love defensive line. I was sort of hoping that maybe they would shift to investing more in the secondary because I feel like the NFL just lets dudes hold in the biggest games of the year. So no matter how good your defensive line is, if guys can hold, you're kind of screwed. So I was hoping maybe they'd invest more in the secondary, and they still may with their draft picks. We don't know. But yeah,
this definitely puts to rest the idea that the Niners are going to get Bosa or Mack, right? Like
I would think
that's the 4th defensive lineman they've brought in. Can I count 4?
Gross Matos, Collins, Floyd,
Elliott.
and Elliott. Yeah, that's 4.
Yeah, that's 4.